Greetings everyone, and I would like to welcome you to the second week of the Painting 2 Basic Introduction to Anatomy. Nothing too complicated, nothing too difficult, basic, simple information for artists. And you'll remember from last week our miniaturized model of the human skeleton, known as Mini Fritz, due to the fact that we have Big Fritz, who's in quarantine in the college, and we can't get him out. So Mini is standing in online, and we thank you, Mini, for your noble and intrepid work. Last week you will recall that I mentioned the human skull, and I also said that the skull is in proportion to the top of the shoulders 1/3 of the width. So this skeleton's head, 1, 2, 3 would stretch from shoulder left to shoulder right. 1, 2, 3, so we have it like that. Now, the other details of the skeleton that I'm going to roughly go over with today, and it'll only be short YouTube videos because I know they get intensely boring to watch if they're too long. So we'll take the overall length of Fritz's body, poor little Fritz. So hopefully you can see him all right. And Fritz, the head, if I can hold my fingers the correct space all the way down, the head from top of skull to sole of foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 skulls equals the length of the body. Of course, if you're a giant or a small person, that may not apply, but for the average length of a skull, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 from sole of foot to top of head. Taking the rib cages, you've more or less got the size of one skull is taking up, poor old Fritz, there you go. The size of one skull is taking up 1/2 of the rib cage, and the size of one skull is taking up the other half of the rib cage. The rib cage is a cage. One has to think of it like a cage that contains a bird. In this case, the beating organs, the heart, the vital source of our lives, and the other vital breathing lungs. So they're inside this cage, protected. And when you're drawing a skeleton, it's tricky to get that sense of three-dimensionality in a rib cage. A lot of people draw them as if they were flat paintings of a rib cage painted onto a t-shirt or something like that, but they don't get the sense of the ribs that are behind and in front. That is tricky. It takes some work to get that done, and the work is what it's all about. You know, the more you exercise your eye, the more you draw and the more you look, the better you get. It's not like you're just born like an instant drawer of brilliance. Some are born with slightly more talents than others, but you can work on it, and that's what we do in these classes. So we have got those ribs, we have got that length of the body right down. It always surprises me that people find the skeleton morbid, because obviously every human being has a skeleton inside. And in fact, in many religions, philosophies, Buddhism for instance, it is regarded as important to contemplate upon the bones, the skeleton, the mortality of the human, because that compost is where creativity comes from. Working so that you are aware of the transience of life and aware of the existence of death creates, as I say, like a compost for creativity. That's something worth contemplating while you're actually working on the skeleton during the next weeks. I've sent you photographs, I've sent you paper, and I've sent you a pencil, I believe. I've got one of them here. Now the pencil, when you're holding it, remember it can be held like this, like you were writing. Sometimes you need that for detail, but by and large, one holds the pencil like this, sideways in the hand. And so when you're sketching, you're kind of feeling your way into the drawing. They say a drawing has to have feeling. Indeed it does. So one is feeling the way into the drawing and working on this skeleton. All the great artists have drawn skeletons: Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and they have learnt the basics of anatomy from that. Because, you know, here I am starting a drawing. I don't know if it's visible in the light here, but you know, this is a kind of rough I've done of Frida Kahlo, and obviously she's no longer with us, so I'm basing it on photographs, and I've juxtaposed things together. But you know, with that I will be having to work on making them deeper than the photographs. So if you're working from photographs, you want the anatomy to have some semblance beneath the surface of the photograph. That's important, because you don't want your work just looking like superficial photographs. So how long have I spent on this? A few seconds. Here he comes. It's a rather strange skull. Anyway, holding the pencil like that, feeling your way into it, eventually grasping something of the essence of what you're seeing. Now, so far, only Daniel has sent me photographs, and so he's doing extremely well. And so the rest of you, I expect, and the deadline will be September the 8th, in 1 week's time. I would like you to send me an initial study of the skull, profile or front. Just start with the profile like I was doing today, and send it to me at my text or at my Hostos email, and that will be you. Now that will also count as your attendance for this week, so simply do that, because I think I'm going to get into drawing this thing just now. I'm telling you, it's a bit haphazard what I'm doing, but it's coming bit by bit. Okay, so till next time, I wish you all the best. Delighted to see you, and we will continue. This is for painting 2, not for painting 1. This is painting 2, who are doing the basic anatomy. And like I said, let me know when you receive the books on anatomy that I've sent you through Abe Books, because that's what we're going to be working with for the muscles. Okay, so if you could kindly let me know when you get those books. Meanwhile, Fritz will take a rest for this week, and I wish you all the best. Any messages you want to give me, text or email, and I will put this up on CUNY First and Blackboard to let you know. Week 2. Take care now. All the best to everyone. Bye.